I hope you are all well and staying safe in these uncertain times. Me and Ben have just been out for our daily walk and we're now back in with a cup of tea and some little apple pastries. In fact, I'll show you them because I love them. Ben and I shop in a Polish supermarket because there's some really lovely food, and these are they say they're cookies with apple, but they're these lovely little apple and cinnamon pastries, and I've just eaten about 5 of them before filming this video, so I'm aware I could have icing sugar on me. My hands are now really sticky, but I thought this would be the right time to sit and film a video. It is a beautiful day today. Me and Ben just went a walk around where we live and the sky is so blue, it is ridiculous, and there is not a cloud in the sky. It is such a beautiful day today. It is weird that it is so beautiful at the moment because in my head there should be some kind of pathetic fallacy and it should be awful weather. But in fact, obviously nature just doesn't know, and it is just looking absolutely glorious outside. Today I just wanted to have a bit of a check-in and a catch-up with you because stuff has changed. It's just a weird time. Ben and I have had to cancel our wedding, which was shit. You know, it was. We were due to get married in early May. We were going to have a ceremony with our friends and family, then go up to Edinburgh for a little honeymoon or a mini moon in between, and then we were going to get legally married in York. Rightly, we can't do any of it anymore. We did think we might be able to still go up to Edinburgh because obviously the London ceremony was going to be about 50 guests, so we knew we wouldn't be able to have an event like that because of social distancing and just because of the amount of people in one space. Edinburgh felt a little bit more feasible, but obviously with it being non-essential travel, because every week has been changing, right? This week has been the first week where I think things really haven't changed, but a lot has changed quite quickly. So it really felt like every week we were feeling like we were able to do one part of the wedding and then none of the wedding. We were hoping we might still be able to get legally married, but when they cancelled, again, understandably, to do any wedding ceremony with more than 2 people, and obviously to get married legally you need to have the couple and then 2 witnesses. What matters is the fact that other people in our community are kept safe, and that our family are kept safe, and that we're kept safe. So a wedding at the end of the day is just a party. It doesn't really matter. The wedding we'd have planned would have been lovely to have had at the beginning of May, but to have what we wanted as our 2020 wedding in 2021 just felt weird. When we realised there was relief in having to cancel the London ceremony, and then sadness when we had to cancel York, it became very clear that next year we didn't need to have both. It would have been beautiful to have it this year, but to just almost copy and paste what we were going to do this year and put it next year just felt off. So we've replanned. A lot of people who are getting married at the moment or due to get married are going through exactly the same process. And it's not fun. It's weird though. That's the thing. All of this is weird. None of us, we personally didn't see this coming. There are lots of things you plan for in weddings. You plan for flowers not turning up. Or, you think, for me, I was always a bit worried about, what about if I'm ill on the day? What do we do then? We never would have thought this would have happened. So it's odd. What is sad though is that just on that shelf, just down there, we have one of our wedding invites framed, which obviously is now completely redundant, and just above that on that shelf, we have our wedding rings and Ben's cufflinks. Ben's suit is in his wardrobe and my wedding dress is due to arrive, and I've got my bouquet here. So we feel like we've got everything, it's just not happening. My wedding dress is my nana's wedding dress from the early 50s. So that wedding dress has been waiting around for 60, 70 years. It can wait a couple more. Now on to a slightly more light-hearted part of this video, because I feel like I can't talk about cancelling a wedding without seeming sad. We decided to buy a Nintendo Switch Lite because we've been wanting one since the new Zelda game came out. Well, Ben wanted to play Zelda, and all I cared about was when they made the announcement about the new Animal Crossing coming out. I said to Ben that I would love to get one. Getting this Nintendo Switch and being able to play Animal Crossing was one of the best decisions I've probably ever well, not ever made, that's a very big statement, but it's one of the best decisions I've made during this quarantine. I loved Animal Crossing as a kid, and I only played Wild World and New Leaf, but mainly Wild World. And I played it obsessively, and it was a place that I used to retreat to and was a huge part of my childhood. And it just, whenever I think about it, whenever I think about the music and the characters, it just makes me feel really safe and happy. Because I haven't really played since then, I was a little bit concerned that I wouldn't enjoy it in the same way. But as soon as I started, I just fell in love with this game. Ben had never played Animal Crossing before because he's never had a Nintendo. I always had Nintendo DS when I was a kid, but Ben always had like Xbox and PlayStation. So it's been lovely to see him discover Animal Crossing. It's also been really cool to work out who else was excited for Animal Crossing, because it seems like all of the bookish people, the slightly nerdy bookish people, have suddenly come out of the cracks, so suddenly getting Nintendo Switches so they can play Animal Crossing. And you realise that they would have been the same people who, like you as a kid, were staying up late to collect, your bells. The island, by the way, is called Dalloway, obviously a reference to Mrs. Dalloway. It has been the perfect purchase for this time. If we weren't under quarantine, obviously we wouldn't have been able to afford to get one anyway because of the whole situation. But I think it wouldn't have had the same experience, because obviously we're having to spend a lot more time indoors, which means we have a lot more time to play games, and it is a lovely way for me to relax and rewind and take my mind off things, because the world is noisy at the moment and it is very overwhelming, and mainly because you have to pay attention as well to the noise to keep yourself safe, that you feel like you can't really switch off. So it has definitely helped me feel a bit more calm. And it's also nice to know that even though I can't really go outside at the moment, I can go to my island and feel peaceful. So I've spent a lot of my time playing Animal Crossing and working. I think the thing is, we're working from home all the time. And the thing is, it's not like working from home like normal, is it? Because you can go out of an evening or go out at the weekend. It's very easy at the moment for all the days to feel like they're just blending into one, and therefore when you're supposed to stop working, I'm finding myself I'm definitely finding it harder to switch off. So Animal Crossing is helping in that way. I'm also just not reading at the moment. And yes, I guess that could be because I've got Animal Crossing, so there's something else for me to enjoy. But I also just think it's a weird time, and my brain just can't at the moment. Which is a shame, because I'm currently reading the Wolf Hall series and I love it, the Wolf Hall trilogy. It's probably one of the best things I've ever read. Hilary Mantel is an amazing writer, and I was only saying before this happened that I was really having a positive couple of months in 2020 of reading, and it's just stopped. I just need to remember that I can't beat myself up about that, because this isn't normal months, this isn't what life is normally like. So it's fine that if you struggle to do certain things, because there's no rule book for how the world is right now and how we're coping with it. Like everyone on Instagram, I also decided to bake some bread. And last weekend I made some brownies, which are just Nutella brownies, which are really nice. But as everybody is making sourdough at the moment, I wanted to try and bake bread. I didn't make sourdough, I decided to make a challah loaf. Which was delicious. I want to bake it again to just add more sugar to make it almost a bit more brioche in taste. And also I only managed to do a free platted one, and I really want to do a 6 platted one. That's my next challenge. I am also intrigued by the coffee that has been going around Instagram, the frothed up coffee with the milk, the iced coffee, because that looks delicious. So if I do that, you will 100% see it on my Instagram. Got to stay relevant in this time of quarantine. I've been having a lot of video chats and quizzes. We actually did a pub quiz at work where we all picked a round, and I decided that my round was whose Jane Austen line was it anyway. Working from home has been weird. I never thought I would be running a social media channel during a pandemic, publishing every business in the world at the moment is facing challenges. It's been interesting to see what kind of books people are picking up. I have a theory, which is just something I've made up. It has no factual basis to it. But I have a theory that people who are really bookish and who maybe read a lot all the time are struggling to read at the moment. But then people who maybe feel like they don't have time to read and don't really get a chance to read that much in a year are reading more. That could be completely false. It is interesting though to see that more people are reading crime and thriller at the moment. It's going to be interesting to see which genres are really popular. I've been keeping an eye on the Kindle charts at the moment, mainly because for our books. And when I say our, I mean the books that I work on. But it's really interesting to see which books people are responding to. So the book industry, despite facing challenges, will rise again. And I think it is important to support the arts at this time as well, because it's the stuff that we all take comfort in, and it's been really cool to see so many people do stuff like the National Theatre doing the live streams and making art so much more accessible. And it just makes me realise that this is something maybe that we always should be doing anyway, because it costs a lot of money to go to the theatre. This whole experience has obviously changed things for us personally, for me and Ben, whether that's financially, jobs, whatever, the wedding. It's also just made me realise how much this world will change, I think, afterwards. I think the world of work will change. I hope it changes. The respect for care workers in the NHS, I hope will continue, but will continue in a way that they are given funding and PPE and are given, good hours and are paid better. So I hope that the world changes because of this. It's sad that it has to come to this to change. I'm going to leave this very rambly video here, but I hope you're all well and looking after yourself, and that your friends and your family are also safe. And I'll see you again soon with a bookish video, which I promise will not be as rambly.